All right, so we're going to ultimately go to this piece, but I wanted to give you the option. I wanted to show you kind of an up close part. This is this section here to show you this combination of hard and soft edges that we've got. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Good to see you.
I know I missed you on Wednesday, so
We
I'm
missed you
here.
too. Excellent. And if you want to come on Sunday, you can pick up some more stuff on Sunday. Anyway, like I know it's Easter. People probably have stuff to do. So I was just saying, Lisa, that this is what we're going to be working on today, drapes. But I wanted to show a close-up to show you this really fascinating combination of hard and soft edges. So if you're working with a pencil, you can see that really it's just a set of geometric shapes. Some are softer, like this is a soft edge here, right? Going from light to slightly darker. But a lot of the folds, when you come to a fold where there's a light part sticking up, there's definitely often a hard edge. So I find that really helpful. What you'll find as you're working, so here's a hard edge. Here is a, and you know what, you guys know what I mean by hard edge, right? Like hard edge is where there's a full stop between a lighter area and a darker area, as opposed to a soft edge, which is what's happening here, right? There's this kind of softer transition between light and dark. So so for those who want to do this in charcoal or in paint, I would totally welcome you to try that, right? As we're doing the sketch. I'm going to do the demo in pencil just because I think it's easier to kind of manifest. But if you were going to do, and let's see, where else is there? Yeah, here's a hard edge. Here is a hard edge. I'm going to walk you through sketching this out. This is a hard edge, maybe right here. So pay attention to your hard edges as you're coming through. And there's like a pretty strong contrast. Like this is, you know, if the values are on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being light and 5 being dark, this would be a 5. This would be a 1. 2, 3, and 4 are varying shades of gray. So this would probably be a 3. Down here, maybe a 4. Here's like a 1 to 2. And here. So when you're going in, pay attention to, I like to get the sort of basic shapes in. And then as always, focus on, hi, Claudia, welcome. Hi, Stephanie, welcome. I like to focus on the hard and soft areas. I don't know if anybody wants me to actually, does anybody want me to grid this? Or would you be happy to have me? It's a pretty simple shapes. So if you want me to grid this, I'm happy to grid this for you. So you can create a grid. If you're going to be working in charcoal, I would highly recommend toning your paper and doing your initial sketch with your eraser, right? To get the bigger shapes. And then you can go back in and start doing your darks and lights. I will show this in pencil. And I want to tell you, this is one of the most satisfying drawing exercises because you're going to feel like when you're working on it, it doesn't look like anything. But when you step back, you'll be like, holy cow, look, it actually comes across as a real thing. So the first thing is always we're going to do is start with our outer shape, right? There's our outer shape, and I'll take a picture of this and send this across the thread. Awesome. So here you go. Whoops. There we go. So that's going to be your first sketch, and it's going to look, if you're working in pencil, it's going to look a little bit like this. This one comes a little lower. Oh, fabric's so fun. And And you might find you're going to have to adjust things, right? If you don't have things in the right place, that's okay. I'm looking at this. It's about right. That's okay with this kind of exercise. Oh, here, you can't really see it. There we go. So we're going to start like that. You might have to thicken this. That's okay. This is a kind of thing where it's easy to get kind of lost in the structure. And then I was trying to figure out the best way to structure this. I think the best way to start the sketch is to kind of identify some of the bigger shapes first. You know what I mean? Trying to then, rather than trying to get everything. So here is a fold. So you're going to start with this, this, this. I'm just looking to see if there's any other folds you want to get in. There's this shape. I don't want to get in too much detail right now. I want you to get, there we go. So you're going to start, the next step is to look at these shapes. When I did this before and I did not do this, I found myself getting a little confused. So it helps to get these outer shapes. Really pay attention to the red lines, because that's going to help you see the bigger shapes. Okay. So let's see, I've got, maybe this needs to get a little wider. See, already I'm adjusting a little bit, which is okay. So I've got that. So this comes down like this, right? That's roughly, let's see. And if you're estimating, you can always like see how much from the distance from here to here. So you see I'm doing this as I'm coming along. If I'm measuring the distance from here to here and then seeing how far down does that go. This is literally a third of the way down. So I know it's probably in about the right place. So a lot of drawing is knowing when to, how to simplify. I think that's a lot of the expertise is learning to do that. Now I might have made this too big. I'm going to find out soon when I add in my sketch. Might be okay on this side. See, I'm not worrying about any of the inner lines until I get these outer ones, this outer business kind of sketched in. Let's see, and then there's a one over here. Yeah, that's pretty good. So this starts to help you. This kind of comes out like that, which means this has to get a bit larger. I'm doing a lot of negative space work. I'm looking up, see, so I'm like, this needs to come up a little higher because I can see there's this shape here I need to contain. I want this, and it was looking a little short. There we go. Aha. So I'm paying as much attention to the negative spaces that are not what I'm drawing, right? Well, but I am drawing. It's a misnomer. We're totally drawing them. So that is step number 2. And I'm going to show that. I'm just see if I can get these together. I think you're going to find this a very meditative. Here, I'm going to put this down for a second just so I can photograph it. I'll put it back up, I promise. I think you're going to find this a super meditative process because it's unlike a lot of things we do. It's fairly straightforward.
Leah, can you add me to the thread for this class?
Absolutely. And then I'll resend everything over.
Thank you.
Yes. I just sent over here. Where are you? I can't do two things at the same time. I can't talk and do that. I'm like, oh my God, here we are. All right, so I'm sending over the first two sketches again.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then. So let yourself really get caught up in the meditation of this. It's a wonderful, it's not as hard as other things. The shapes are easier to see. And then let's see, I'm going to do these. While you guys are finishing that, I'm going to do these next ones in green, let's say. Right. Always it helps to break things into pieces from less detail, bigger shapes to smaller shapes. Let's put it that. When I say less detail, I think that doesn't help. But when you go from bigger shapes to smaller shapes, the bigger dark shapes first, dark and light shapes. And if we start with the dark shapes, we know that immediately, here we go. We're going to be able to start to parse out the smaller shapes. So we start with these bigger shapes, right? There's another line in here, but here, let me send this over so you can see it. I think it's a little bit easier to see. You can kind of see it. Mm-hmm. And really, you can see this is just this collection of, and don't worry if you don't get the outer shapes right the first time. I'm looking at this and thinking, I need a little bit more space here. This is your point to correct that. So there's this one here. Which comes down low enough and kind of, I'm paying attention to, right, this shape here. This comes all the way up like that. There is, I haven't yet gotten into the detail of this yet. I can also see, yeah, it's a little bit more than halfway. That's good. Right, and then within this shape. So this is also a really good exercise in guessing where things are and then correcting. So don't feel stuck, like you can't, don't feel stuck, like you can't change things around. This has to float up high enough so that there's a dark edge here, but we're not drawing that yet. We are drawing, draw the shapes as you see them. There's another one here. Kind of comes out like this and then comes in. Don't worry if you get lost, just take your measure. You can do this with a pencil like I'm doing. You can tone your paper and use charcoal and an eraser. You could paint it. Making decisions about values. The values are really clear here, so that's a really easy thing to see. Whoops. Notice it's really hard to do a long sweeping line. I'm making a lot of corrections as I go along. This needs to be a little bit wider. I think that's in good shape. This is definitely one of those exercises that you can constantly be correcting. Oh, right, that's the real. This has to be. It was cute. I was working with a group of teenagers yesterday who were doing this exercise, and one of them was so adorable. She just kept talking to herself, just like I'm doing right now. She would be like, okay, okay. And it was like this, like dulcet, it was adorable. It was absolutely adorable. Like now that's all I think is I'm like, okay, that's right. Okay. Okay. It's like she was soothing herself. And then she'd say, what do I do? We actually weren't doing this exercise. We were doing a hand. And she was like, okay. She'd say, what do I do here? I'm like, try this. Okay. It was really adorable. I know I totally am okay to have kids in classes, and there's been kids who are kind of as young as, 10 or 11. We have Addie, who's 11, in the classes on Friday. I love that. But I'm not really generally a kid art teaching person, but I forget that they are they teach us a lot about how we learn. They have a lot of information for us if we're ready, because they verbalize more what we do but don't really talk about, or how we feel but we don't really talk about.
Well, it sounds like she is much less stressed than I am also about
Yeah.
drawing it.
I don't know. She
like,
seemed pretty stressed, actually.
oh, okay.
That was just her way of dealing with it. Okay.
Ah.
Just kind of talking herself through it,
Aw.
like, okay. Okay. So I just want you to imagine yourself. You can say it out loud. Or, okay. I have it. All right. Okay. But that could well be true, Lisa. She is not a journalist. But kids are really stressed too. I was seeing there was a couple kids who would not come on, show themselves, and they wouldn't talk. And then they were frustrated at the end of class that they were having trouble. And I'm like, well, did you come at the beginning of class? No. Did you ask for help? No. Okay, so I don't know what to do with you. Like, I don't care, because this is not for your grade or anything. This is for your, you can do this if you want. But I thought it would make me insane as a teacher if the kid just checked out. Right. It would drive me. It made me very sympathetic to teachers. I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? And then the other ones, they really want to be seen, right? It was really interesting in many ways. Okay, I think I got that. Let's bring this over. So you're going to be making constant adjustments here. Do not feel like that's wrong. That is absolutely part of the process. And then once you've gotten, oh yes, and then there's like these inside. So here is like a kind of darker, like that. I'm not even going to draw it in. I think you guys can see it pretty clearly. Your detail, you can see you're going to start with the biggest details, and then that's going to be the easiest way to go later. And I would say start with the dark as always, because I think those are the easiest lines to see. darkers. Often darks are kind of coming up against a hard edge. You can move around. And then you can start practicing adding in your soft edges. You'll find yourself, I'm sort of automatically gravitating towards the sort of hard edges with the dark, where a dark area meets a light. That seems to be happening for me. I'm moving stuff around. Constantly I'm moving stuff. I'm realizing I didn't put something quite in the right place. So if you're doing that, that's good. Drawing is not about getting it right. It's about trying it. I've had students in the past that have wanted to know with exact mechanical precision where to put every line. Otherwise, they couldn't draw. And so they stopped, because you literally cannot do that, right? The only way you can draw is to put a line down and then start to determine whether it's in the right place or not. There's no way to go around the fact that you are making, that you have to, speak. See, I'm a little bit in right brain right now. It's hard for me to talk. There's no way around the fact that you're going to have to make a mistake you have to estimate and then change it later. And that is really frightening for people. That was really hard for him. He could not, in the end, he couldn't do it. He just couldn't. It was too hard. And those are the only people I say who don't. I mean, he would benefit if he could, you can benefit from that even if you think that way, just if you could stop yourself from doing it. But if you can't, you're not going to get very far in drawing. Yeah, already that's starting to look okay. Just by adding in the hardest lines and the darkest edges. Notice how delightfully those light edges really pop out at you, and notice how few of them there are. Notice what happens when a dark edge kind of transitions to a lighter edge, but it's soft. I think this is with all the dark, the major dark edges, darkest areas. I'll take a picture. Send it through. Nope. Sorry, now I'm blocking. Oops, no. Get the whole thing. Got it? No, dang it. Doesn't let me quite get. Oh, for heaven's sakes. I'm going to put this down for just a minute. So this is mostly the dark hard edges. Feel free to send anything over if you're
I'm doing a primate.
Excellent. In watercolor?
Yes, it looks a bit weird.
Send it over. That's probably a good sign.
Well, I don't think so. It looks like a patchwork.
I'm totally stoked. We're going to be starting watercolor next week.
Yes, so I'll send you what it looks like now.
Yeah, please. Let's see. I don't know. I think it's looking pretty good.
He's cute, Sandra.
It's the only primate that has blue eyes aside from humans.
Really?
Yes, it's a type of lemur.
Oh, hello, little buddy. This is great. So, Sandra, one of the things that you can think about practicing is to get rid of that patchworky feeling, is to get your brush wet with water and go over an area and with your brush and kind of blend it a little bit.
Afterwards, or before I put the color, like now?
You can either do it with the color or you can do it afterwards. You can do it in both places. So try it. Try practicing that. We're going to practice that a lot on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, that blending technique. I don't know. I think he's pretty great.
Well, it is fun anyway.
Yes.
My rabbit didn't come out so piecemeal, so I don't know what quite happened here.
I think you're more used to doing cats.
Yeah, and you know what I like about lemurs is they have even bigger and more colorful eyes.
Yep, absolutely. I think once you do something for a while, it becomes easier. You know what I mean? Like it becomes, you're more accustomed to, oh, right, there's a transition always happening. So even unconsciously, as you get better at doing a particular subject, it's because you spent time practicing where the transitions are, what they would be.
I think it's a different medium because I did a cat in watercolor, which I haven't finished. It doesn't look great. So I think it's just medium, pastel versus watercolor.
Yeah. It's partly the medium, but I think things are always made easier when you're familiar with the subject.
That's your
So I
physiognomy.
think if you're familiar, because the drawing is informing your painting. And regardless of whether you're thinking about yourself as drawing or painting, you're still the confidence to know where things are and where the shapes are and where the hard and soft edges is. That's just kind of, now you've built it into you by doing all of that. So it's, it's interesting. It's drawing and painting are like it's like a Lego set or a brick wall. Every time you do something and you get better at something, you build this you have little tiny successes and some failures, right? But each time you have a little success, it's like a little brick you put in your wall. Then you know that brick is there. It's a universal skill, drawing and painting. It's like riding a bike.
Maybe I should have done wet on wet, but I'm not completely confident about it yet.
I'm not a big
that would have blended better.
Well, yeah. So you're just practicing. You don't,
Yes.
right? You're just practicing right now. Don't worry about that.
Hey, just FYI, my computer insists it's going to automatically reboot at 10:20. So
Okay.
I may disappear for a little bit, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
But you're right.
Mind of her own, don't they?
I feel like this is quite meditative. I kind of like doing it in the morning, Leah, as opposed to after
It's
work.
nice.
When I'm
Diana
so
likes
tired.
Sometimes you can I myself am better in the morning, although it just depends, right? Like on the day. I find that sometimes pushing through the tiredness actually means I fight less, right, with the subject matter.
Right. Yeah.
But I like, you're not in a rush right now because you don't have to rush off to work. So I think I prefer mornings myself. I'm more of a morning person. However, if you're in India, this class is at 9:30, so p.m. So kind of forced to be a night person. Oh, interesting. I can see I got a little bit lost in my subject here. So let me bring this in. So I found that I put this dark spot in the wrong place. What am I going to do? Am I going to panic? No. I'm going to take my eraser. Really, the truth is, yeah, this just needs to be a little bigger. There we go. That's better. So you're going to find things, you're going to lose them. You're going to need to pull them back. That's okay. It's just shape after shape. Also, Lisa, this is just a particularly meditative subject matter. The drawing part isn't too hard, right? So it's all about like your dark and light shapes, which is what makes it a great subject.
I think probably on a subject like that, the left brain doesn't interfere much.
Yeah, because it's not, yeah, right. Because it's
More of a shape.
right. Right. There's less. Yes, I agree. That's probably something of what's going on. Yeah, like I don't even really feel like I need to turn this upside down for you
Oh,
guys
no.
to see it, right? Because
Yeah, it's easier than I thought it was going to be when I first saw it. I thought,
right? That's why I think that's where the success comes in. That's where the success comes in. Okay, so I've got this, then I've got a light. Got it. Then I was missing a whole, I was missing an entire, that's what was messing me up, a whole fold. There we go. Okay, now you come out here. I was missing an entire like fold. I'm like, why is this space taking up so much space? Ah, there we go. Much better. So you're also getting a chance to practice this hard and soft edge thing. I remember being very delighted by the idea that there was more hard edges than I thought in drapery. Then I really could just get into the zone of the shapes, and then all of a sudden I'd look up and there was like, oh, hey, hello. And you can also see in this process how it's easier to go from lighter, darker to lighter, and bigger shapes to smaller shapes.
By the way, Leah,
Yeah.
you know, for watercolor things, I found that this deviled egg dish works very well for a palette.
Great. That's totally fine. You can totally do that. I like having a palette where I can have a lot of colors out because
I mean, look.
Oh yeah, that would totally work. That would totally work. That's a great idea. So if you don't have a palette,
it's cheap. I mean, it's cheaper than asking for the same thing as a palette for some reason.
I think the palette I gave you guys was $10. Is it cheaper than $10?
I can't remember. Probably not. Yeah.
But yeah, it's cute. It's really cute. It's very Eastery too. Diana's actually working. Darn it.
Yeah, our big press club event. She's
right
putting together the video for next Friday. And
we're getting ready to hire a executive director, hopefully, for Portland Open Studios. And I'm like, we need to get a Diana. How do you get a Diana? It's not an easy thing to get a Diana, is it?
I know. No, you're
like
totally
a
right.
Diana's a really like a
Yes.
Diana's a good thing to get.
Yes.
Higher, but it's kind of rare.
Yes. No, she's amazing. I can't believe all the stuff she gets done.
Yeah, and the hit and I was just when I was thinking about it myself, we got this opportunity to apply for grants, and I'm like, oh my God, we need a Diana type.
Yes.
We need to get one. Lisa, are you president of the LA Plus Press Club for another year?
I am.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How do you
so
feel about that? It
It
depends on the day.
yes. Last weekend I was doing a ton of press club stuff and I was like, yeah.
It's a lot of work.
But no, it's good. It's really rewarding. And the best part is we just got another grant to give emergency relief to journalists who have lost work during the pandemic. So
that's what Janet said. So that's what Diana said.
Yeah.
So anybody here who belongs to the LA Press Club, if you're struggling, know that they're going to put that out there soon.
Yeah, and you don't even need to be a press club member. It's for you just need to be a journalist in Southern California who has lost work during the pandemic. So it's great. Very rewarding work to be able to help people, although reading the stories is crushing, when people are writing and saying, I can't pay my rent this month.
Right.
But we can give them some help. So that's great.
That's really good. In about 10 minutes, I'm going to have you stop wherever you are and send a picture across the thread. In 10 minutes, just giving you warning. Just because it's important to kind of stop.
I'm going to send you mine, Leah, because my computer reboot's going to happen.
Okay, got it.
Minutes.
Send it over.
I'm still pretty early in the process.
That's okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, looking good. You're good there. Keep on it going.
Okay.
I obviously kind of whipped through this fast so you guys would be able to see this, but I do not expect you to keep this pace. In fact, I really want you to keep your own pace. I want you to really just get in the zone. Ooh, Marie just posted what you guys are going to be doing for reflections tomorrow. The new subject in landscapes, water. Ooh, fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I really love what's coming out of those classes. I knew she would be a good teacher.
This is very nice and patient, and
Yeah, and she's got a great process to follow, doesn't she?
and sort of very encouraging. Ooh.
Yay. How fun. All right. Yep. Yes. So very nice, Olga, coming together very nicely. So yes, take a moment to stop and take a picture and send it across the thread. And then I actually want you to get up. I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to remove the spotlight for a minute. I want you to take a break, get up and stretch. Actually, seventh inning stretch here, as we say in America, right? The da, 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 da. Get up, walk around the room, come back. Now, before you get back to work, I want you to step back and look at your drawing from afar and then look at it in the photograph. And I want to hear, what do you think so far? Give me some observations. How's it going?
Well, I think I gave you mine that
Stephanie?
it's easier than I thought it would be. I mean, I'm not going to yet say it's easy since I
Right.
finished it, but I'm doing a ton of erasing.
Excellent. Excellent. I like it. That's how we do. Claudia looking great. Stephanie Lee looking fantastic. Olga looking wonderful. I'm just trying to find different like words to say, hey, doing great. It's not like one is better than the other.
I'm doing this in charcoal and I think it's a bit of a challenge.
I haven't really reviewed charcoal much, but send it over. Let's see. Are you using a charcoal pencil?
No, like
or the charcoal sticks?
Like a stick.
Ooh, I think that's coming along very nicely. I think this would be an easier assignment in charcoal, quite frankly, because you can erase easier and make softer edges, right? So you can take your finger and kind of blend a little bit more. You can go with the edge of the charcoal to make sharp lines. I think that's looking great. Great job. Wonderful. All right. We got another hour. Let's get this done. Let's see how far we can go. Let's put it that way. There's lots of detail that you can do. Olga, you're frozen. Oh no, you're just sitting there. You're so cute. You're like, I'm like, did she freeze? She froze in this really cute position. Oh no, she's just drinking a cup of tea or coffee or wine, maybe. Yeah, keep going. Sandra, that's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's getting better.
It's getting better. Yeah, I like the mark making. I see some blending happening and I think it's helping. Send them alone. Looking beautiful. Yeah, he's really adorable, Sandra. Actually, pretty great.
I think that's because it's a beautiful creature.
This is a beautiful creature. Oh,
it's a bit out of focus because I blew it up.
He's adorable.
So
Love
cute.
it. Love it. Love it. You guys, I will be back in a couple of minutes. Hang on a second.
No, please don't come, don't come, don't come. No, no, no.
How's it going, everybody?
Looks like a leopard.
Yeah, we have a
Oh,
visitor.
Who is that one?
It's Rabbit.
Rabbit.
I had to quickly move my painting because now he's sitting where I was working.
Her
Mr.
markings
Rabbit.
are amazing.
That's what the Bengals are all about. The markings.
You can't sit
And their
here, yeah?
eyes.
Now inspecting my paint and water, settling down, not to. You could sit here.
All right, now I feel this is really soothing. Drawing and then watching the cat just lick herself. I feel
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
all
he's
very
now comfortable
meditative.
with grooming himself.
This is really the secret class. This is the secret soothing class.
Oh, thank you, thank
It's
you.
sometimes tough to make room on a weekend for it, but if you can, it really makes it, if it can become a ritual, you know what I mean? It really makes it. I think this is the class that's like, things are more manageable. We go over more basics. We're practicing more stuff. I like it. Mm-mm.
Oh, thank you. Oh. Mr. Leon, don't come here.
I heard that. Wow, wow, wow,
Yes,
wow.
you're waking up.
I'm gonna send you mine, Leah.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, coming along, darling. Looking great. Just keep
Now
on
what
going.
do I do? I just keep
Well,
looking at
now
the
you
different
start.
values.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
that's right. It's kind of an obvious task, isn't it?
Yes.
Just add in the values and don't get too confused with every single one. Do the
Okay.
ones you can see
Okay.
easily and obviously. Looks great. Very nice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stop with Lémion. I think it's done.
Okay, let me see.
Okay. Shall I show
Maybe
it
you
to you
can
like
do
this?
a little bit of the draperies while you've got it. Oh, yes, he is.
Ah,
I'm going to do
Very
another
nice
Aw.
blending.
He is
Sorry, I
adorable.
screamed. That was
It
really
still
cute.
looks like a
Adorable.
patchwork, but
I think you just have to adjust you're developing your strokes. You're not going to be able to do the same thing in watercolor that you do in acrylic or in pastel, right?
that's
You
I think
have to
is what I'm doing here.
right? Like you have to kind of learn what the medium does for you. You're going
I
to do
think it's
similar things, but
Control of a brush as well, which
well, yes, that's true about everything. Control of your tool is always like a practice.
so I'm sending you a final picture, and then I have switching to another Lémion.
Okay, perfect. Because you've got like 45 minutes, so.
So I can there we go.
Let's see. Oh, I don't know. He's pretty perfect.
He's sweet, isn't he?
But I think you got it. I think you got him. I think you got him. You just have to accept the mark making.
Hello.
Right? It's wonderful. It's great. So your instincts to go towards watercolor is good. And when you did it is good, because now that we're going to be practicing technique, you're already going to have some experience with what you can do easily and what's harder with the watercolor brush. So you're going to be primed and ready for like more in-depth classes. Because anyway.
Leah, are you familiar with this watercolor paper?
The what? Which watercolor paper?
The
Oh,
Stonehenge
Stonehenge.
one.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff.
Because I just ordered one. I liked this. I wanted to go to a square shape, and it's just the right size. It's 10 by 10, whereas Arch does 7 by 7 or 12 by 12. Also, Arch use animal sizing, whereas Stonehenge doesn't.
Right, right.
Slightly bothers me.
I think you'll find that some things you'll like, you're going to find your brands. There's a lot of stuff. That's why Jessica can really geek out. You know what I mean? About like that's why she's a great person to talk to, because she tries everything. Right?
But
She
she's
tries,
primarily in oil, right?
she does everything. Yes, she likes oil, but she does everything. She has opinions about everything. Let's put it that way.
Right.
She really knows, and she's tried it all.
Yeah, I have a lot of opinion on pastel paper. I mean, because I
See,
know.
right? Like, right. So when you get better at it, when you start to figure it out,
But I guess you only get this by trying it out, yeah.
you can only know. And it has to do with what you like,
Yes, what it does for you and how you work.
what it does for you and how you work. And that's a test of time thing. But yes, if you're ever wanting to talk about products, send Jessica a note. She loves to talk about products. Like, absolutely. She's who I go to if I want to know what's the best thing in a particular area to get.
By the way, can you remind me, I think it was my first time in the US class, and so I didn't know the people very well. Who advised me to get the whole set of pan pastels?
That would have either been Janet Roberts or probably Janet Roberts.
But it was fantastic advice.
Okay, I'll tell Janet, send her a note. I know
painting.
she'd love to know.
Well, what was the fantastic advice?
To get pan pastels, to get the whole set.
Oh,
Because I find that for underpainting of, I no longer use hard pastels, I use pan pastels, and they're absolutely fantastic. But it works mostly with my favorite paper, which is pastel matte. But she advised me to get the whole set instead of just dribs and drabs, and she was absolutely correct.
Right.
Because I would have ended up getting the whole set, but in a much more complicated and expensive way.
Expensively. Yeah. Yep, indeed. Yeah, I bet that was Janet's. Janet's also becoming a bit of a gearhead. I like it.
I'm doing this guy next.
Oh, yay. Yay. So cute. So cute.
This is very healing, you know.
How so?
I don't know, because right now I'm sort of recovering from that surgery, and just like
Yes.
completely takes my mind away, my pain away. I'm like,
Did you guys
makes
hear
me-
Sandra had a good news with her surgery? Her
you look
radiation.
great, Sandra. I have to
oh,
say.
thank you. I had surgery yesterday.
What?
Thursday.
Oh my
April
God.
1st. Yeah,
And
no,
they
she showed up for class on Friday, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
And they didn't find any residual cancer, so they need to double check for
Oh
sure
my God.
with a longer pathology report. But it's fantastic news. It means less radiation. It means,
Oh, Sandra, I'm so happy.
Not
so
great.
I'm very lucky.
That is so great.
And
So
I'm off
great.
heavy duty painkillers. I only ever took one.
Well, no wonder you look so great. The good
No,
news,
I only
I'm
took
sure,
one.
Yes,
is
she
helping.
always
taking
had her.
Tylenol now.
She was beaming on Friday, and totally like attacking the thing with gusto. I would say it was good news. Well, I would feel the same way if I was you.
Yeah,
I would
I
be
wasn't
excited.
sure I was going to be able to do a class, but in fact, I felt really well. I think it's also because they give you steroids,
Yeah,
because that really helps with nausea but it also kind of makes you feel good, kind of give you a boost.
like
course,
you
then
were
I'm probably gonna
saying when you were
crash
going
tomorrow.
through chemo, how that was happening.
But then I used to crash 2 days later, so I'm expecting to crash tomorrow. That's okay.
Are you completely done with treatments for now, or how
I
is
still
it?
have a radiation,
Okay.
so I
But
think
it's
I get like,
shorter. But it's shorter.
yeah, I should get if it wants out, there's no cancer, I should only get like 4 weeks, like maybe the whole of May. And then that's it. Well, then I just got to watch it doesn't come back, because it's a kind that does come back for the first few years. But so yeah, I think I've gone through the worst, the chemo and the surgery. So now radiation, if it's only
Hey.
4 weeks, should be easy.
So
Oh,
pleased. That is so
Isn't
great.
that
happy
great?
for you. That's some good news.
God, I'm so
Very
glad I
lucky.
came to this class today.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we have been with Sandra through this whole fucking thing. Sorry, I'm going to say that on the thing.
Yeah,
I think
when,
you're allowed to say fucking thing when you're talking about cancer. Like she was diagnosed like last year.
Yeah, in
when we were doing
September. So I've been
classes.
painting with you since since
February or
March.
something, or March. Yeah, last year. So we've
And
gone the
then,
whole thing with you.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody about you, Sandra. I have been, by the way, for those of you who don't know, I'm hoping that NBC's family will join us soon, maybe starting in June. And I was talking to their HR person on Friday or Thursday about the class. She was just, she did not really have to be convinced of the value of it. And she said it was very unique. She hadn't really seen any offerings just like what we were doing. And I said, you know, like really the value of these classes is not just the learning of the art. It's everybody's gotten to know each other in a big global company. And now we have now Stephanie and the other BuzzFeed crew. We've got Refinitiv people. We've got LA Press Club people. And it's really nice to get to know people in this way, like in a way I would consider to be non-exhausting from a Zoom perspective.
And during a pandemic where many people are lonely and isolated.
Right.
And
Yeah.
missing human contact.
So that's what I was talking about. And one of the things I said was, oh yeah, and we have this woman who got diagnosed with like cancer, like during our treatment. And we've been following her every week, and everybody was sending her notes when she was going through the hardest parts.
Really nice.
And yeah, and this is like, we were able to touch base with you. You know what I mean?
You guys completely sustained me, you know, during this kind of long tunnel.
Yeah, she was really fascinated. She was kind of like leaning in on her thing, like, really? Like, I said, yeah, that's like, it's not just art.
Really?
Although it certainly is, you know, great. It's like art, I consider it good art instruction, but it's not really just about that.
Leah, I keep meaning to ask you, have you tried to reach out to Sue Horton at the LA Times?
I haven't. I really should. I get the feeling she's kind of busy.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Right. Well, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, well, the LA Times has a lot of troubles.
Right. That's the sense I've been having, is that this isn't the moment. I mean, NBC News, the NBC Universal worked out really well because, you know, the person who worked there waited till just the right moment to send to HR after layoffs had happened and after, like, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like you kind of have to wait for your time to pitch this.
You don't want to be like, yeah, we just laid off a bunch of people, but here's some art classes.
And now you can spend money on art.
That
right?
doesn't
No.
that does not go over well.
Right. Oh my God, it's absurd. I'm not laughing because of people getting laid off. I'm more just thinking how fucking
the
absurd.
absurdity of it. Yeah.
What a weird, yes.
But the good thing is I'm hearing more and more people talk about the mental health of journalists and how it's important.
Well, yeah, of everybody, right? Not even just journalism. It's like, oh my God, everybody's losing their little our little minds. Everyone is.
If there's one good thing coming out of the UK is that they are actually taking mental health seriously for the first time. We always talk about mental health and do absolutely nothing about it.
Right. You know, this HR person I was talking to at NBC, it was really nice. Like you could see she was thinking really deeply about what can we do for people, right? Like how do we reach people? Like what can we do to help people when we can't be together? And what is there to do? Like, and you could see her really stretching for that. It was a really nice thing to see a company where that kind of thought is being put into. And, you know, Reuters has obviously done it. And so all your companies have done it because they put money towards these classes for you. So I think that's I don't know, I just think that's really neat.
I think it would have been really hard for me if we hadn't had these classes. Particularly when I stopped working, because then you lose contact.
Yeah, with everybody.
With everybody. And
I think if you're in a good state mentally, I think your physical health kind of improves as well.
Right.
Sure.
True, isn't it, as well?
Well, and I've been saying a lot lately because I've been hearing it a lot lately about Zoom fatigue. I'm like, this is opposite Zoom fatigue. This is Zoom, but in a non-fatiguing way, because you're not really, you're sort of looking at the computer, but really you're spending most of your time looking at your drawing, using a tool, learning how to do something. We can chit chat like this, right? Right. Sort of while you're working. Or you can, you know, like keep your video off. Like you have options in terms of having to be, in my understanding. Hello, mini Julia. Hi.
Yeah, the fatigue comes from staring at yourself, right? That's part of it. We're
Staring
not,
at yourself, and
we're
I
not
think
used to.
I think
staring
being
at ourselves.
unable to get the information that you get when you're in a room with someone. I think you're
Yes, the
straining
body
really
language.
hard to try and figure out. I just think it's harder work to talk to people, that there's a lot of information we pick up just by being in a room with them, and we can't do that. So it's, you're not sure how people are doing, and I don't know. Well, you know, it's been nice for me. I was just thinking it's been nice for me too. I have a sort of secret desire that everybody learn how to draw. And I feel like I think that the way to do it is through companies a lot. I mean, of course, people privately can do this too, but I feel like there's more impact when a company decides this is important. And it's easy for me to reach a lot of people, right? A lot more people. So that's been for me, and people kind of all over the world. So that for me is like the really gratifying part of the work, is to see that people, I kind of believe that I've been using this excuse a lot, this I've been using this example a lot about reading and drawing. And what I think is, imagine if you didn't know how to read. Imagine if you didn't know how to do that, how different your life would be, right? You would be frustrated all the time. And your brain wants to learn how to read. It has to be taught, right? You have to be taught. It's a several-year process to learn how to read, but you need to, there's a whole set of brain processes that start happening once you trigger that set of learning. It expands, it changes everything in how your brain operates. So it's something that the brain wants to do. And if you don't do it, imagine how like frustrated you'd be. And I think drawing's the same way. I think drawing is, and for some people painting, but definitely I think drawing is one of those things that the brain wants to do. And it's a set of skills that you need to have. That once you initiate that brain process, a whole bunch of other things happen analytically in your brain. Like you give yourself a whole new tool set. It's like learning a language, right? You don't have to do it, but if you do it, you think, and those of you who speak more than one language know how much wider your perspective is on things, right? How much more your brain functions on these things. So I think everybody has a desire to learn to do it, and a deep sadness that they think they can't. And they have this idea in their head that they can't. So for me, I like to think people could. Everybody could. Or most people on some level could.
I definitely had that idea that I couldn't draw.
Yeah.
That you had to be born with some innate skill.
Nope. Right? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm sending you my drawing. I don't know whether you'll be able to see it properly. Hold on. Always takes me a while, because if I take the picture with the app. It's kind of a strange format. Oh, I'm sorry, it's shiny. Let me.
I can
remove-
see
let me
it. I can see it.
Okay. Because I put it
Look
in a
at the
plastic
shape
sleeve.
of your eyes. You actually have the eye on our right as bigger and rounder than it actually is. The
Okay.
eye on our right is a little bit smaller and
Squashed, right?
to the shape. It's a little bit more because it's
Squashed.
on the side, so we can't see it. And it's turning up a little bit, right? Because that's the shape. So look at the shape of the eye on the right. Yeah, you switched it around. Other than that, nose looks good. You're getting the nose in the right places.
You think it is or it isn't?
It is. You're getting better
Okay,
with
good.
that. You're getting better with that. I think I see you paying attention. I think both of these eyes are slightly too big, but
he has huge eyes.
it does, but yeah, it looks okay. I'm going to say it's really just that eye, which means that there's also, Sandra, pay attention to the whole shape of the face on the right side of the nose. It's almost like a triangle, right? Like this, the way the face comes in. Pay attention to that shape because it's different than what's happening over here because the face is turning this way. And so there's more perspective being applied. There's a little bit more of a slanting up.
I can't tell whether, I think this is fur right here, and that's the tree. But it's almost blends here. I think that's still a fur.
Diana likes your lemur. Let's see. Oh yeah, Lisa, coming along. This is beautiful. Might be the best drawing you've ever done in class. Not to put any pressure on you. Just see you deal with it, but your mark making is really beautiful. I feel like this exercise is really helping you guys find how you like to use the pencil or whatever you're using. Very nice.
Hmm.
Aha. Come on over here, little guy. Come say hello. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on, bud. That's my bud. Sweetie. There he is.
Hey, big guy. Hi, Amis.
Oh,
Oh, he's so
so
gorgeous.
cute. Aw.
Hello.
Hello.
Here. Here is little Hermes.
Oh,
Let's
so
do what you
cute.
want, huh?
Aw. He is milking that.
Can you guys hear me?
Is he purring?
Yes, he is. Now he's playing. Whoop, dang it. Up. Sorry. He's playing. Up, here we are. Hold on, I'll start again. He likes to be held up like this. It's funny. Like it keeps him quiet for a little bit longer. Oh my gosh, I realized I totally forgot to put this back on Spotlight here. Sorry. You can see everybody just kept on working. I should go. Right, you got about 15 more minutes. So start moving around. My best way, I think, of unless you're like sort of at the beginning of a project, when I'm trying to like kind of get, hey, sorry about that. My best, here, hold on, let's stop the video, start the video. My best sort of way of finishing up a project is to keep moving around all the edges. I don't know if you guys heard that. but keep looking at where a dark edge meets a light edge and seeing, did I get that right? And then you can usually evaluate the mid-tone edges as well that are close by. So kind of move around. If you're working in a place, you feel like you're almost done, you're trying to add your final touches. Well, notice how long you could go on with this process, first of all. You can pretty much just keep going and adding more detail. But I think the process by which you add detail, oops, everybody, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, great. I think the process by which you add detail is more straightforward in drapery. Ah, my computer is, let's see, here we go. Weird. I see. No, don't get you crazy. Don't get you crazy. There we go. Got everybody. He's trying to figure out how to get up the drawing board, which is
Oops.
diagonal.
That is hilarious.
It is hilarious. That's another one. You've watched Hermes through his formative period of his youth. All right, go ahead and start kind of closing it out. Do your last, spend a couple minutes doing your last strokes. Take a picture and send it across the thread. We'd like to see what you came up with. And when you send it across the thread, I want you to send one word across with the picture. Whatever words you want to, just one word with this picture. Take a couple minutes. Pleased. Very nice. Yeah, it should be.
Thank you.
Shadows. Excellent, Stephanie. Excellent. I love it, you guys. These are great. I'm going to use these in an Instagram post, I think, with the words that you picked. So I like them. I like it.
What kind of words?
I asked
Any
you did
word.
this too. Take a picture of your lemur, your finished lemur, and just put one word on it. Any words you want. Obviously, probably associated with this project.
I'm going to send you both emus.
Under construction, excellent. One of my favorite phrases, you can use two words, under construction, if it's a phrase, one word or a phrase. Under construction is one of my favorite phrases in art because honestly, things are very often under construction. Love it. Send it over. Let's see. Did anybody, how challenging was this assignment? Was it hard?
It was harder than I thought. I thought it was going to be easy, and then I realized I've got all my lines wrong.
Right.
I must say it looks hard, and I'm very impressed with what you guys did.
Right? Doesn't it
Yep.
look good? Doesn't it look good?
The bottom part was the hardest for me, like the draping starting at the floor and in the center going up. I got tripped
Yeah.
up a lot there, but then
Yeah.
when I figured it out, it's fine.
I did a little bit too. I got a little bit tripped out there too. But that's the whole point, right? Like the point is like to sort of realize, oh, I got this a little bit. I kind of got a little bit lost with what was happening over here. It was tricky, but yeah, then when you figure it out, it's like a puzzle, like you solved a puzzle. Also, if you're a little bit wrong, it doesn't totally kill the drawing, does it? A little bit off. Where else?
Yeah, I thought you wanted a word about how you felt about the drawing. Which
Well, I wanted you to I assumed most people would say something like, I was curious to know, would you focus on, like, you said what you felt. Vanessa focused on what she focused on. Sandra thought about process. I'm just curious to see what, like, yes, I left it open because I wanted to see what people would say. I think all those things get kind of caught up in this process, right? So whether you're talking about process or talking about how you feel, it's good. Okay, I'm going to remove the spotlight. I like this. I thought this was a nice and relaxing exercise. I know it's a little bit trickier than you think, but it's totally manageable in terms of being able to fix things and to see lines and shapes and to see how, as you're working on lines and shapes, how that turns into a drawing, kind of by surprise, right? Like all of a sudden you're like, I'm just focusing on the lines and shapes, and you look back and you're like, that's shapes. I'm just thinking about it as lines and shapes. As Sandra said, I think we spend less time fighting particularly in an assignment like this, no words. Yeah. That's wonderful, Olga. Beautiful work. This would be a fun thing to paint. You ought to try painting it too. Come into class tomorrow and paint it.
Olga, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it really looks great.
Wow.
And no words is good because that's a good description because you did not think at all about
Oh, but
you
that
got
looks
out
like a
of right
photograph.
brain, left brain completely and were just thinking about shapes, right? No words. There's no words to describe this. This is a pure visual spatial experience.
And it's because for me it's unbelievable that we are doing such things, because 1 year ago I couldn't even imagine like to draw like a cat or some simple thing, and now we are doing such things. So
Right. Well,
Yes,
and
same.
yeah, and like you guys, some of you have been doing this for a while, but Julia and Stephanie are new to this. So,
Yeah.
right, like are new to the process. And look what they were able, right? Like, so the cool thing is like Stephanie's like new to this, and you know, you guys are new to this and you're still able to do it, which is also really cool. I love that. Nice to see you, Stephanie. Good to see your face. I know you're probably sick of like showing your face, but nice to pop in for just a second. All right, you guys. It's my video editor is out of town for the weekend, so it'll take a little bit of time for the edited videos to get up. Maybe look for them on Monday or Tuesday. Otherwise, this one will be up on the YouTube in about an hour. And hopefully, I'll see some of you on Sunday for either pastels with Marie or like 2.5 hours later with me for acrylic and oil painting studio. 3
Is
hours.
it okay?
Yeah.
Is it
hopefully
okay
I'll
to
see
continue working on Limio
you
during
can
your
do
paint class?
whatever you want. Actually, we are going to be finishing a painting that you can know in standard in every class, you can do whatever you want, and I'll help
Thank
you
you.
with it. I think this class on Sundays is going to be particularly prone to that because it's a 3-hour class. I'm going to be helping them finish. Lisa, actually, the same sheet that you did, they did. I'm looking for it here. So I'm going to be working on helping them finish the sheet. So
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
sheep
that
slash
sheep,
goat
the
slash
sheep
whatever.
goat slash whatever. So
Goat to
if you
sheep.
want to bring your painting out, you can continue to work on it. I'll be showing people how to
Awesome.
do that, but you can work on whatever you want.
All right. Thank you,
If you've
Leah.
got other acrylic paintings or oil paintings, you can work on them too. Like it's a good place to kind of good catch-all place to kind of do, or a new watercolor painting. It'll be a good place for anybody who wants to come and just work for a while and get help.
Awesome.
Okay. All right, you guys. We'll hopefully see. Yes, Julia.
Sorry, I was going to say, is the second half of the shed from yesterday, is that online?
No, because my not yet, because my editor is out of town. So, but I will probably that'll go up on Monday. Unfortunately, she started to do it and then something happened and then she left and it's all on her desktop. So it'll be there on Monday or Tuesday.
Perfect. No
Yes.
problem.
All right. Take your cake care, you guys. Happy Easter. Hopefully see some of
You
you tomorrow
too.
for drawing.
Good to see you all.
Bye.
Bye, guys.